guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of an extra special book shopping vlog. That's right, we're going to be going to the used bookstore today and I could not be more excited. Before I dive into more details about this video, first a word from this video's sponsor, which is Wonderium. Hey guys, I'm so excited to say that this video is sponsored by Wonderium, one of my all-time favorite partners. I frequently work with them because truly they are a platform I adore so much. But if you're not familiar, Wonderium recently rebranded from the Great Courses Plus, and they are a premier educational and entertaining video platform where you can access thousands upon thousands of different videos from so many different genres to video links, not only entertain, but also educate you along the way. Wonderium is a one-stop shop for anyone who wonders. Their video library and content selection is just honestly ginormous. I first fell in love with the Wonderium video service with their longer length video lecture series. These lecture series exist in so many different genres, from mathematics to science to business. I personally fell in love with their history section as I was a history major in school, so I'm constantly looking for new ways to continue to grow my own knowledge. But Wonderium also has so many different types of video links and content types, but super easy to fit into your schedule. They're also constantly coming out with new programming. I'm personally obsessed with two new shows that I love so much. The first one is inspired by my recent trip to Italy, which is called Traveling the Roman Empire. Discover ancient Roman culture hiding in plain sight. When I was traveling around Italy, my favorite part was seeing all of the ancient Roman architecture, and this series basically focuses on different locations. Travel with the host and learn about a bunch of places that still has a lot of Roman history to this day. It's amazing. The second series I am loving right now is very, very practical, and that's what I mean to say that they have so many different options for you, depending if you're wanting to focus on more of a learning oriented, but they also have lots of practical and fun, like lifestyle focused video series as well. The video series I'm currently watching is Fundamentals of Home Maintenance from Repairs to Renovations. I am a recent first-time home buyer and I feel like I'm constantly running into new things around my house. So I wanted to find a series that would kind of equip me to be more knowledgeable on how to maintain and ensure that my house basically doesn't fall apart. So this has been so helpful, and I've been complaining about how I feel like there needs to be a handbook on this, and lo and behold, Wonderium basically has one, which we love. I of course have an offer code with Wonderium if you guys are interested in trying out a free trial to access their expansive video library. Be sure to click the link in my bio or go to wonderium.com/peruse project. Again, big shout out to Wonderium for working with me for this video. I am truly a huge fan and their videos are some of my favorite. So I am deeming this like an extra special reading vlog because it's kind of showing like the life cycle of a reader. I have been very good. I recently unhauled a bunch of books and I have been storing them in preparation for this video because we're going to take the books that I unhauled in my last unhaul video, I'll leave it linked down below, sell them, use that money to buy more books at my favorite used bookstore. So without further ado, let's begin this journey. Let's load up all the books into the car and head out. If anyone was curious, this is what we're working with. I have 3 relatively large tote bags full of books, so I'm pretty hopeful that I'll have a decent amount of store credit to work with today. Obviously, going to a used bookstore, you don't exactly know what they're gonna have in stock. So I'm also just keeping my fingers crossed that it's gonna be a good day for shopping. And we're on our way out.
Book it.
We got Maggie Rogers playing. We're en route. We're en route, people. We have made it. We have made it.
You gonna close it?
It's like I'm Casey Neistat. Oh, why, thank you. Hiding in an unpopular section. Just dropped him off. It's not too busy. Fingers crossed. Let's do some book shopping. like to look at the puzzles because I'm a big puzzle girl. Nice. Clay's back and I'm gonna make him push the cart, so. Sir. Thank you. I always like looking at the end caps. That's where you get the best deals. Taking a sip. Need to get back to it. Me and this cart, I feel like we're going on a saga together.
Customer Reagan,
Ooh.
your offer is ready.
Ooh.
Reagan, your offer is ready.
Big money. I think I can get a couple more books, so let's go out on the hunt. Came in with 3 totes, leaving with 1 tote. Not a bad trade. A little spoiler on the top book. Oh, totally. Hi guys, I am back from the bookstore. And I have my haul. I have my tote bag full of the new titles I was able to pick up with my store credit. All in all, I was able to grab 6 new titles. I'm so thrilled to be able to add to my shelf. 5 were used, but Half Price Books also has a small collection of like new releases that you're also able to get at a bit of a discount. So I grabbed one of them as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this tote and let's chat about the books I picked up from the bookstore. The first book I grabbed is actually a sequel that I just thought was like too good of a price to leave there. That is Ancillary Sword by Anne Leckie. I have the first book, Ancillary Justice, on my bookshelf, like right up there. And this is a series that I have been meaning to pick up for ages. And it's also one that I just feel like is something I'm going to love so much. I also hear it's written in a very unique fashion. Many of my friends who have very similar tastes to me as well have really enjoyed the series. So I thought, you know, finding the sequel for over 50% off was too good of a deal to pass up, but this story seemingly centers our main character who is desperate for vengeance, and it opens on a remote and icy planet. Our main character, Breck, who is a soldier, is drawing closer and closer to completing their quest. Once she was the Justice of Turin, a colossal starship linking together thousands of soldiers through artificial intelligence throughout the galaxy, all in the service of one really powerful empire who also has sights on colonizing the entire galaxy. But an act of treachery has ripped it all away, leaving her one fragile human body, a lot of questions, and a desperate need for vengeance. I love space opera tales. I love space revenge tales. I love artificial intelligence. This just seems like a series that'll be very explosive and hard to put down. So I can't wait to pick this up. The first one I also think won the Hugo Award. There's just endless reasons to read this series, basically. The next book I was able to find is honestly a steal and is part of like my used bookstore list that I'm constantly looking to try to find these particular editions. And that is a hardcover of The Wheel of Time. This is book 7 of The Wheel of Time, one that I do not own. And as I said, I'm always kind of keeping my eye out to try to find these used, as there's a lot of copies in rotation, and you're able to save a lot of money when you're able to find them at the used bookstore. This, for example, was only $9.99, which love to see it. I'm actually not sure if this is one of like the reissued newer editions or actually like an older copy of this series. Okay, actually looking at this book is from 1996, which I'm honestly kind of obsessed with, and this is kept in immaculate condition. Like, I am very impressed by the quality of this hardcover for being almost 30 years old at this point, which I think is so freaking cool. But I am in the midst of my Wheel of Time read for the first time. I'm currently on book 4, so adding book 6 to my collection was just, you know, a no-brainer. The Wheel of Time is a very famous, very beloved epic fantasy series written by Robert Jordan. It follows a variety of characters as they're taking on this evil force. There's magic, there's politics, there's betrayal. It has lots of like classic elements to it, you know, friends going on a quest together. And for that reason, I personally find it a very comforting, homey read. Obviously, with the television show just coming out on Amazon, it has a lot of new eyes and notoriety surrounding it as well. But needless to say, I'm so thrilled I picked this book up, and it's just really cool. It only has through like book 6 on this book. Like, this is in the midst of the publication. I just love it. Okay, I can't believe I was able to find a true vintage copy of this. love it. Next up is actually a new release that I was able to grab with store credit / it also had a bit of a discount to it, and that is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed. Recently just completed this author's debut novel, which I actually also picked up at Half Price Books, and enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but elements of it I really did like, from the writing style and the concept and everything, that I felt very strongly that reading another book by this author perhaps result in a new favorite read. And truly, reading over the synopsis of this book, I think the topic of this is one I'm personally going to really enjoy. This is a gothic horror fantasy story. It also has like touches of steampunk perhaps, and it's also a retelling of the story The Juniper Tree, where a young witch seeks to discover her identity and escape the domination of her ruthless wizard father. Say no more, I can't wait to pick this book up. This specifically follows our main character Marlishan, and she and her sisters are some of the last witches that live in this city. Because magic has become much rarer, she's kind of like an archaic tourist attraction, if you will, kept in isolation by her wizard father. She spends her day kind of divining secrets for paying customers. So in a city that's kind of bustling with industry, our main character kind of begins to sneak out and starts visiting the ballet. There she meets someone I think she begins to form a relationship with, and her trysts out into the evening become more frequent. But there also seems to be something growing in the city itself, and obviously Marlishan also has to face her father. Again, the concept of this book sounds really interesting to me. I already know I love this author's writing, and I'm really curious to see where her second sophomore novel takes us. Next up is a book I have been meaning to pick up for ages and ages, and I found such a good quality used version of it that I decided it was finally the time, and that is Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I think with my discovery of how much I love Juliette Marillier, I've been really inspired to check out some other older, very famous female-focused fantasy stories. So The Mists of the Avalon was one that was at the top of my TBR. This is a King Arthur inspired fantasy retelling, and I love Arthurian legends and sort of medieval focused fantasy books as well. There's very little like actual explicit synopsis. This is a fantasy story reimagining the women in the Arthurian tales and also centering them and all the adventures. I actually think this might center Morgaine, which I think is a very interesting choice, and just all of the quotes just really sell it to me. I think this is going to be magical and beautiful and very, very classic. I don't know. I really am like in my Arthurian legend phase. I especially think this upcoming winter, so I think this is going to be delightful. I love the cover. Just everything about this is vibes to me, and I cannot wait. Next up is a literary fiction story I picked up because I saw it most recently recommended on TikTok, and when I saw it for such a good deal, I said, you know what, maybe this is fate. I just watched a TikTok about this. I guess I'm gonna buy this book, and that is The Overstory by Richard Powers. I've actually heard pretty good things about this author's writing, particularly from my friend Max, as he's read other novels by this author. But this book, The Overstory, won the Pulitzer Prize, so obviously it's pretty lauded in itself. And reading over the synopsis too, I really felt like structurally this was a book that I would likely very much enjoy because it's a story about like interlocking events. It's not really a story that focuses on one particular main character, but instead focuses more on like movements and resistance and rebellion throughout time. And that concept sounds really interesting to me. It also seems that the story very much connects to the natural world and really centers nature. This is said to be a story of interlocking fables that range from antebellum New York to the late 20th century timber wars, the Pacific Northwest, and beyond. I don't know, I'm really curious about this. I've been wanting to pick up a book by Richard Powers and kind of form my opinion on him just generally as an author. He has written many books, and many of them have been very award-winning, so I'm curious. And again, $9.50. Need I say more? Like, I'm not even sure if this book was read. It's in such perfect condition, to be honest. And then the last book I picked up is probably my favorite book of the haul. I feel like I got this for a steal. It again is in perfect condition, a new release I've been meaning to pick up for ages, and that is The Storm of Echoes by Christelle Dabos, the fourth and final book to the Mirror Visitor series, a YA fantasy series that I think is one of the most unique and original stories that has been released in years. This is also a series that I have kind of conflicting emotions with. This is a translated translated work, the original language being French. I loved the first two books so much. The third book had some like language choices that kind of pulled me out of it. I kind of chalked it up to the translation though. Needless to say though, I'm looking forward to seeing how the story is going to wrap up in book 4. I'm also hoping I don't run into like similar discomfort while reading this, because there were some, in my opinion, again, like language issues in the third one. So, but again, to find the fourth book used at such a good price, it honestly only came out a few months ago. I was ecstatic. But if you're not familiar, the Mere Visitor series follows our main character, Ophelia. And in book 1, Ophelia is just interested in living in a very quiet existence. She runs a museum, and in this world there's basically like floating spires in the sky, and each spire has its own magic and political makeup. On Ophelia's family spire, she has the magical ability to be able to touch objects and see their entire history, as well as travel through mirrors. At the beginning of this book though, Ophelia's family is rather fed up with her because she is refusing to get married, so they actually negotiate a marriage with a very powerful individual in a far off spire. In book 1, we follow Ophelia as she travels there to this very different place that is cold and desolate, and their magic kind of centers on illusions. It's very politically volatile and very, very dangerous. Everyone is scheming. It gives the vibe of like Versailles or sort of Catherine the Great's Winter Court. It just has all of the aesthetics and danger that you would expect with that. The series has a very fascinating and unique heroine, and we're kind of traveling all over the place. The lore of this world is highly unique. I loved it so much. So I'm curious to see how the series is going to wrap up. Again, I had a bit of a problem with the third book, but I'm hopeful that the fourth book will kind of write itself back into the track I'm expecting based on the first two books. But needless to say, the fact I was able to find this in the stacks of the bookshelves, I was thrilled. Alrighty guys, that is my used bookstore haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this book shopping, selling, buying books, kind of showing the circle of life as a reader. Again, big shout out to this video sponsor, which is Wonderium. I'll have a link to their site again down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye.